So here it is, the 13-degree angle for scarf joint. What you do is you cut that 13-degree angle, yeah, like that. Take this piece off. There's two ways of doing this. You can either flip it over and put this piece down like that, like so, to make the neck for stringed instruments. In this case, I'm doing a tenor ukulele. But what I do is after I cut the scarf joint at this angle, which is 13 degrees, I flip it over and put it on the back side, and that's how I am going to glue it on, just like so. So that way I know this is flush and straight. If I do it this way, like that, and then I have to plane it, make sure that the neck is straight. In this case, if I do it this way, do it that way, right? I know that the neck is going to be straight for the fretboard. Now, what you do is you glue this on, and you use a variety of clamps. You know, you got this little clamp, which I like because it's easy to use in small areas. You got this push lever clamp too, and that works too. And this, you know, you glue it on there. The reason for this video is a little tip. What happens is when you clamp it on, you put glue, it tends to slip and slide. And then when the glue sets, and then you got like misaligned neck, and you end up trying to fix it and compensate by sanding or cutting or so. So I have a little trick that I do. Get these skewers or these dowels or barbecue stick, and what I do is I figure out the spot where I want it. I clamp it down, make sure it's nice clamp, and then I mark a line right here. You can see the mark, and I drill a hole, and I stick this dowel in there, just so when you glue it on, there's a piece of dowel that's sticking out like so, and it just stays in place. It's a little trick that I do. You got enough room over here. This is 3.5 inches. We're probably gonna taper it down to right around, you know, find the center line and fretboard the width of the neck, so you have a lot of space and room around here. So when I drill that in, that's going to be cut off anyways, according to the shape of the ukulele neck, and it just holds it in place. It just makes it easier. So when you clamp it down, there's a skewer sticking in. Just makes it easier. Yeah, so I'm gonna do that right now. So here it is. I kind of dry fitted it, clamped it down to the, trying to establish the shape and how it's gonna be shaped when it's glued on. It's when you clamp it down, yeah. And what I do is I just lay this on the table, and we are going to clamp this to the table. Just make sure it's nice and secure. Yeah. So I went ahead and marked the spots where I'm gonna drill. Yeah. The holes to stick these dowels in there. So when you glue it, it holds in place, so it doesn't slip. So that's just a little tip for scarf joint gluing, prevent slippage. And I drilled holes over here, all the way through the headstock. And drill holes. And I'm going to stick those dowels in. And what that does is, these dowels are in here like so. Yeah, both of these. And they're in there like so. And when I glue it on, I simply just stick this piece there, and it just kind of stays in place, intact, just in time for me to be able to clamp it and prevent it from slipping. I've done scarf joints and clamped it down, and it has a tendency when you put on the glue, it'll start to slip down that way. And by the time the glue settles and you have misaligned joint, you know, you try to compensate by sanding it off or doing some cutting. So I'm going to do that right now. So I'm gluing this piece and spread the glue a little bit. So then just stick it into the dowels. There you go. And you start clamping it down. Kind of have to act somewhat quick about it before the glue starts to settle in right away. Always a good idea to get your clamps set up. I like using these little clamps. This is easy to work with and they're pretty inexpensive. Clamps can cost you a little bit of money, but you know, it's absolutely necessary. Just make sure it's at the spot where you want it. The other side as well. You can see there's this glue slipping out, which is good. Put a good fair amount of glue. So by doing this dowel technique, it's kind of hands-free. You don't have to. Your hands are kind of freed up from clamping. Another spot over here. Equal tension on all sides. And what I did too is I clamped this piece to the table, so make sure it's nice and flush. what excess glue coming out. There it is. Clamping the scarf joint without it slipping and sliding. It's a little tip. There you go. These dowels prevent it from sliding. You can see my mark point, nice and flush. Just make sure that you clamp this, or if you have a vise, that you put it on a vise so it's not moving so much. And there you go. And what I'm gonna do, I got these they're sample pieces from Home Depot or at the hardware store of hardwood flooring. This one is actually mahogany, and I'm gonna put that on the headstock so I can shape it just another just to make it look nice, you know. I'm excited to do that. But there you go, scarf joint clamping using dowels to prevent it from slipping. I hope this helps out.